Hello, welcome to this KaboomJS tutorial. My name is Luke, and I'm going to show you how to get started with KaboomJS and by making this game. So, simple game, you have to just move around and collect as many apples as you can before the time runs out. And then you can click to play again. So I haven't been using KaboomJS for very long, but I've been really impressed. I think it's a great way if you're just starting out coding, or if you're looking for a quick way to make a sample or demo game. It would also be a really good next step if you've used something like Scratch and were looking to move on to typing your code, especially as you get to learn JavaScript with Kaboom. Okay, so let's get going. So I'm going to be using Replit because that just makes it really easy to get going with Kaboom, and it has a nice sample project to get you started, which you'll see in a moment. So if you haven't used Replit before, go to replit.com and then you'll probably want to sign up. So you can sign up with a new account or use a Google account or GitHub or even Facebook if you really want to. Or if you don't want to be linked to one of your other accounts, you can start a new account just for Replit. So I'll leave you to do that and I'll sign into my account. So once you're signed in, you should see something like this, although you won't have any projects if you've just created an account. And what we're going to do is come up here to create, and you can see you could make projects in all these different languages, but we're going to get going with Kaboom. So typing Kaboom in here, and I'm going to just go for the first one here, Kaboom, and you'll see it gives you a random name. So I'm going to type something pretty simple, like collect the apples, because that's the aim of the game. And one thing to be aware of is that on a free account, this will be public, so other people can find your code. And if you want to make it private, I think you have to upgrade and probably pay something. But for now, just going to create the REPL, and here we have the sample project. So here you've got the code in the center, and we've got some other things on the left hand side that we'll be looking at later. And over here is where the game is going to run. So I'm going to click on run up here. And one thing that catches me out is I forget to click in the window to actually use the game. So at the moment, the sample project, it just displays Kaboom when you click the mouse, and we can actually see that in the code here. On click, add Kaboom, and this means at the mouse position. So wherever I do that, it's showing the Kaboom logo. And there's some other code down here. On key press, B and burp. So if we come over here, make sure you've clicked in the window and I press the B key. So pretty obvious what that code does. You press the B key and it plays a burp sound effect. So that's a nice bit of code to get you started. So this part of the code, where it says add, we can see what it's doing is adding this sprite, which is called Bean, at this position. And we'll talk about area in a moment. But this name Bean, you can see comes from over here, where we've got the sprite. If I click on that, and we can see the sprite image, and if you go back to your code under main, we can see up here this line, load sprite, bean, and then a location for it. And the other code we already have right at the top is to import Kaboom. So this is bringing in a library. It's bringing lots of code for you to use Kaboom commands, and then we've actually telling it to start Kaboom. So in this sample we've got lots of really useful things already. So the bean character, the moment we can't edit this or anything, this has been brought in from outside. But the really nice thing about using Replit is that we can create our own sprites. So if I click on the plus sign and I just give it any name, keep the width and height at 32, and then I can start to draw any kind of sort of character I want. Not sure what this is. And then when we go back to main, I can see my test character there. And if I wanted to bring this into the game, then I can click on here, insert load code. Now you can see it's a little bit different because this is something that we have drawn ourselves in the browser. So I've loaded it in and we've got the name of test. So if I just change this to test, and one thing we can see the game is already running, so I can press stop and run, or I can press Control S on the keyboard, and now you see that my new character test has been brought in instead of bean. And if I switch this back to bean and Control S on the keyboard, it will reload and we get this character called bean back. So you can see it's really that quick and simple to get going, especially if you're using this Kaboom environment in Replit, and you can quickly draw your own sprites. Okay, so I'm going to actually get rid of this one for now, and then I need to remove this code. If I don't remove this, I'll Control S, and we see now we get an error because it doesn't know what this is. It's looking for this thing called test under sprites, but it doesn't exist anymore. So if I get rid of that, Control S again, and the error goes away.